Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for this very special celebration. It is wonderful to gather tonight to recognize an extraordinary act of generosity from Eric and Dana Marie Knapp in honor of Dean Peter Winograd. We are deeply grateful for their remarkable support and for the many people here this evening who have helped strengthen and sustain the University of New Mexico School of Law over the years. Tonight's celebration is, at its core, about community. The strength of this law school has always come from those who believe in its mission and invest in its future: our faculty, alumni, staff, student, and friends. Our mission is to educate and prepare lawyers for New Mexico and beyond. This evening reflects that mission in a powerful and meaningful way. The generosity we celebrate tonight is also part of a much longer story of commitment and connection to the UNM School of Law. In 2013, Eric and Dana Marie Knapp made a pledge to the Peter A. Winograd Scholarship, honoring Dean Winograd's career and dedication to students. Nearly 10 years later, they expanded their commitment to $1.9 million during the 75th anniversary of the School of Law. Dean Winograd, too, has generously given to this scholarship fund, further reflecting his enduring commitment to our school. Tonight, we celebrate not only an extraordinary gift, but also the values that inspired it: gratitude, community, mentorship, and a belief in the transformative power of legal education. The Peter A. Winograd Scholarship provides financial support to law students who have demonstrated outstanding academic merit, who have a propensity for giving back to their community, and who have made a positive impact on the lives of others. The scholarship supports each student for all 3 years of law school. And tonight we celebrate a truly historic moment. Eric and Dana Marie have expanded their philanthropic commitment to $4.5 million, the largest gift in the history of the law school. Their extraordinary generosity builds on more than 2 decades of giving and reflects not only their belief in our school, but their deep appreciation for the opportunities that define it. Eric and Dana Marie, thank you for believing in the power of connection and for your generosity that will transform lives for generations to come. I am so honored that the University of New Mexico President Garnet Stokes has joined us for this evening. President Stokes began serving as the 23rd president of the University of New Mexico School of Law, or the University of New Mexico, on March 1st, 2018, and she is the first woman to hold this post in the university's history. We have been so fortunate to have President Stokes at UNM for the past 8 years. She has been a tremendous leader for our university, our community, and our state, and has been so supportive of the School of Law. Please join me in welcoming President Garnet Stokes.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Look at this crowd. This is just absolutely amazing to fill this space. It is, I just want to say thank you for joining us for what is truly a very, very special celebration. It is really a pleasure to be here to recognize and celebrate an extraordinary act of generosity and philanthropy from Eric and Dana Marie Knapp, honoring and cementing the legacy of Peter A. Winograd. Moments like this are a powerful reflection of the legal community and how advice and mentorship can shape our students. These moments remind us that the strength of our institution has always come from its people, those who teach, those who learn, and those who give back. This is especially true in the legal community, which is grounded in service, in mentorship, and in connection. The kind of legacy we celebrate tonight does not happen spontaneously. It is nurtured over time through relationships, through shared experiences, and through a collective investment in something much larger than ourselves. This is a legacy that builds communities. It is a legacy that endures, and it is one that creates the kind of institutional strength that allows us to meet the challenges of today while preparing for the opportunities that are ahead of us. This generous gift reflects those very ideals. As we will hear tonight, Peter Winograd has dedicated his life's work to the UNM School of Law. And in the process, he has impacted hundreds of lives. Eric and Dana Marie's gift honors him not only by name, but by recognizing the values he represents: integrity, leadership, mentorship, and a lasting commitment to this institution and its people. It also ensures that those values will continue to shape the experiences of our students and faculty for years to come. To Eric and Dana Marie, you have my deepest gratitude. Your vision and generosity are an inspiration, and your commitment to the School of Law, it will have a lasting impact in this community. So thank you. So this is a remarkable day for the School of Law and for the University of New Mexico. As we celebrate this gift, we also celebrate the enduring legacy of the people who make this place so special and the bright future that we are building together. Thank you so much. Let's go Lobos.
This is a game changer. To have a couple of folks like Eric and Dana Marie come back and seed and continue. I know they've done this for a number of years, I think, and to seed this like this, it just opens the opportunities for those students beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
Eric was right off the bat one of the smartest people in law school. We were in class together with Ann Scales, who was our legal writing professor. Back then, I don't know if it's still true, you moved from class to class with your legal writing class, so we had every class together. And probably my first impression of Eric was that he was confident and he was smart, because he was the kind of person who would speak up in class. He didn't feel embarrassed, ashamed, wasn't wondering if what he was going to say was stupid. And also that he was funny. He just was really a funny person. He was really upbeat and clever, witty. I mean, Eric enjoyed law school. He did well at law school. But I think because it was so easy for him, he had enough time to have some fun outside of law school.
Well, Eric was on my mock trial team in 1997. And that's really when I got to know him. I'd kind of known of him around school. He had a reputation as a good student. And let's see, it was Eric, Kim Richards, Ann Demaray, Jane Tabbitt, and Teresa Montoya was that team. And right away, Eric kind of established himself as a leader among that group. And to do that in that group is pretty remarkable because those were some high achievers. Those were great lawyers. Eric always stood out in my mind as kind of the all-American lawyer, right? He took everything seriously. He was focused like a laser beam, sharp as a Damascus steel blade, man. He was good and had a lot of fun at the same time.
He's also a very dapper dresser, Eric. I did hold at Professor Aquilino's house while my parents were out in Australia for a semester. I lived in Professor Aquilino's house, and I had a James Bond party at the home. And Eric, for some reason, was the kind of dapper guy, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, who already seemed to own like a off-red kind of black tuxedo to wear to the party. So he came to that, and that was a lot of fun. As I said, we did enjoy law school. We worked hard, but we enjoyed law school too.
I just can't imagine the generosity and the really loving heart that you have to be in a position to make a gift like that, and then to choose to make a gift like that. That to me speaks volumes about the quality of their character, and I think for Eric probably a sense of pride that he is a graduate of the University of New Mexico School of Law, and to see Eric coming back to fertilize that ground is pretty remarkable.
I mean, I think the gift itself is so generous. It is actually a deeply moving gift.
It's a legacy, really, in terms of the amount and the good that the school can do with that sort of a gift.
It's obviously going to change the lives of not just dozens, but it sounds like hundreds of students. And so that gift is going to make the difference between going to law school and not going to law school. It's also going to make a difference for students who want to go to law school and maybe pursue public interest or other attorney positions that aren't as well paying as the big firm jobs that are out there. And I think that without the law school debt, which we don't talk about often enough, and Dana Marie, their gift is going to enable law students to graduate and to pursue whatever they want to do.
I think that it's in no small due to the fact that Peter Winograd is Peter Winograd. Peter, over the years, is, I think, an unsung hero of the law school. He works behind the scenes with a lot of students, and I understand he had that kind of a relationship with Eric. That's a connection that runs deep. Those roots are deep.
So I think that their gift also is a testament to what a difference one person at UNM Law School can make on the faculty to the lives of the students who are there.
And to the Knapps, I would just say, thank you for loving on Peter. Thank you for continuing to respond to his emails, which come at 2 a.m. Thank you for understanding that UNM School of Law will be so much more for many of those first-generation college students, those first-generation lawyers, those individuals who are stellar students, but we don't often get to capture in this building because we don't have the capacity to offer them the scholarship that other schools do.
What do I say to a couple who's done this for this school, this place that holds such a dear place in my heart, and I think all of us who have gone to school here, this family that we're part of, to have a couple like you all come back and remember us and do this and seed the future like you've done. There aren't words I can even come up with to express my own gratitude and the gratitude of all of us. It's just really, really cool, and I appreciate you all very much.
That you, Eric, loved a place that I loved. That we both loved it together, that we wanted to give back to the law school, and that you and your wife have chosen to leave such a legacy and to help so many people. Thank you.
You can never say thank you too often, and that is true. They never cease to amaze me. They are the nicest people who are making a real difference. So I guess all I can say now is huge thanks. Because I never would have imagined that something like this would have occurred, and I certainly never thought that my name was going to be on that scholarship fund.
So let's hear a little bit about Eric Knapp. Sorry, Eric. Eric received his BS from the University of Colorado and graduated cum laude and Order of the Koi from the UNM School of Law in 1998. Eric began his legal career here in Albuquerque with the law firm that was then Friedman, Boyd, Daniels, Hollander, Goldberg, and Klein. He then moved to the Bay Area, San Francisco, where he built an impressive career, including at O'Melveny and Myers, Carroll, Brudick and McDonough, Squire Patton Boggs, and Winston and Strawn. He recently retired from practice, bringing to close a distinguished and impactful legal career. But now, let's travel back in time to 32 years ago. After completing his undergraduate degree in molecular, cellular, and developmental biology, Eric Knapp began exploring law school and considering where he wanted to continue his education. At that time, Peter Winograd was serving as an associate dean here at the UNM School of Law, and he quickly noticed something very special in Eric. Dean Winograd set out to recruit Eric with the energy, warmth, and personal investment that so many of our students remember so well. Fortunately for all of us, Eric decided that the UNM School of Law was indeed the right fit. What began as a recruitment effort soon became a lasting relationship between Eric, Dana Marie, and the law school, and between Eric, Dana Marie, and Peter. And what about the amazing Dana Marie? Dana Marie Knapp earned her bachelor's degree from the University of California, Davis, and spent more than 16 years as a senior litigation paralegal at Barco, Sankel, Bunzel, and Miller in San Francisco. But now she owns and operates a very cool pet boutique, Pazarati's Dog and Cat Boutique in Santa Rosa, California. Dana Marie and Eric live with their dog, Kingston, and their new puppy, Newt, in their beautiful home in Santa Rosa, California. Thank you for traveling here for this very special occasion and for being such an important part of our family and our community. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Eric Knapp.
I almost got lost back there. So I drew the short straw, so I have to go first. Peter will come up a little bit later. And as you all know, Peter doesn't like to talk much. So I'll do my damnedest to be brief. It truly is an honor to be back here with all of you. Every time I'm here, and I visit, it seems like, once a year or once every couple of years, usually with some event associated with the law school. And it always does bring back a flood of memories, great memories. When I think about my time here, what stands out most isn't what I learned, but who I learned from and who I learned with. The professors at UNM Law School were and remain outstanding, left a serious impression on me. In fact, I recall my first day of orientation at the school in 1995, and Professor Browdy and Professor Acalino chaired that first session, my first introduction to law school, and all my classmates. And I won't forget it because they had us break down and discuss a seminal New Mexico case that abolished sovereign immunity. As I recall, it was a case where a school bus had gotten in an accident. And back at that time, you really couldn't sue the state. The king can do no wrong. But they abolished it. And, that's rather ironic. With all this talk about kings these days. But I knew after that very first day, I made the right decision to go to law school, and the right law school. And I was hooked. And then there were my classmates, people who quickly became close friends. We came from different backgrounds and may have gone on to different careers and lives, but talking to them to this day, and even today, some of them are here, we haven't changed, and we haven't missed a beat. And there's still that closeness. Then there's the legal community here. It was stunning in my time here as a law student how local lawyers volunteered their time to serve as judges or coaches for moot court teams and mock trial teams. In my years here, we had Steve Scholl, as our outstanding mock trial team coach, and Robert Schwartz as another outstanding health law moot court coach. They were truly awesome and dedicated and really cared about giving experience to the students and making them better. And that goes for all the local lawyers who would come to the law school after long days to judge moot practices, providing constructive feedback and nuggets from their own expertise. I can tell you from having practiced in another city, nothing comes close to what this legal community unselfishly contributes to its law school. I think it is one of the things that truly makes UNM Law School special. I recognize tonight is about the law school and the scholarship, but I have to give a special thank you to Friedman, Boyd, Daniels, Hollander, Goldberg, and Klein. Joe, I know the moniker's changed, but that's what it was called when I was here. I was lucky to be hired by FBD, et cetera, right out of law school. Exceptional lawyers, all of them. I worked mostly for Charlie Daniels, and I miss him. I regret it took me too long to appreciate how much he taught me about the art of cross-examination that I tried my best to imitate. And John Boyd, John is probably the only person I met who was a bigger smartass than me. But he showed me the passion of civil rights and persuasive writing, even if at times rather colorful. And Joe Goldberg. I was fortunate to work on many of Joe's antitrust class actions, price-fixing class actions, and learn from a master of deposition taking. It was a lot of fun. Joe would always say, you know what the best thing is about depositions? He could say it right now if he wanted to. But he would get that grin, that trademark grin on his face, and he'd put up his hands and he says, because you can ask whatever you want. And I took pride in my depositions too, Joe, and I think if you saw one of my transcripts, you'd recognize some things. So thank you. And it is rather ironic I would go on to specialize in class actions, albeit for the dark side. But what about Dean Winograd and the scholarship? Before getting admitted to UNM Law School, I had conversations with Peter about the law school and whether it was the right thing for me. And I cold called him out of the blue, and he couldn't have been more gracious. And I went, as you noted. It was the right choice. Fast forward a few years after graduation, and I was now in San Francisco. Peter reached out to me because he was coming to San Francisco on one of his junkets for the Law School Admission Council, or some other organization. So we met for breakfast on Union Square, and I got a free bagel out of the deal.
You got a lot more than that.
That would be one of several breakfasts and dinners over the ensuing years, and the menus got better. And special shout out to Vicki Nehill, who was instrumental in coordinating these meetings and attending herself. These visits ultimately led us to jointly agree to launch a new scholarship in 2013, 2014, with the aim of attracting the best and the brightest students, and then continuing commitments to increasing the size of the scholarship, which I believe now funds tuition completely for recipients, which is wonderful. it would also ultimately lead to greater commitment to fund scholarship in the years to come. So thank you, Peter. I don't know how the hell you got me involved to this extent. But Dana Marie and I are grateful that you did. And Dana Marie, thank you for supporting UNM Law. When Dana Marie and I were discussing, yes. When Dana Marie and I were discussing, you know, our commitment to the law school and ongoing commitments to law school, you know, she asked me, what about my school? I'm just kidding, just kidding. She did not. She was enthusiastic about it from the get-go. You know, in the end, UNM Law gave me more than a degree. It gave me a career that I wasn't planning on and wasn't even sure I wanted or would like. Like most of you, I have no real idea what I would have done or how my life would have turned out if I didn't come to UNM Law School. No idea. And that is why we're committed to these scholarships for years to come and beyond. Supporting the scholarships is about more than gratitude. It's about investment. It's investment in future students who are sitting where we once sat. It's investment in the tremendous faculty here who continue to inspire and mentor. And it's investment in the continued generosity and impact of this legal community, which is like no other. Many of you here have sponsored scholarships of your own and contributions to UNM Law, and for that we should all be thankful. I know Sherry Burr, I know Leo Romero, and I know many others are very generous in giving and in establishing scholarships. My hope is that such contributions will continue and grow. It really is important. I don't have to tell you all how competitive it is out there with the Arizona and Texas law schools, among others. And scholarships are the surest way to help even that playing field. So I want to thank you all very much, and thank you for having me.
If you are fortunate to be in his orbit and he takes an interest in you the way he does with so many, it is a priceless gift. He is one of the smartest men I know who, in his own special way, shows that he's always listening. Which is interesting because most of us know him to be someone who could take a 2-hour dinner and speak for 119 minutes of that 2-hour dinner. But you will walk away feeling like you were just at the top of the world.
He was our associate dean under Desi, under Ted, and under me. So we all worked with him very, very closely, and we depended on him.
And he made sure of that.
I don't.
Right.
While he helped us and did an amazing job with curriculum and scheduling and the admissions, I don't think we ever had a sense that he worked for us. It was more that he was working with us to help build this as an institution.
I've known Peter for most of my life. I came to teach at the law school in August of 1976. That was my first semester teaching. I came along with Jim Ellis and Dick Gonzalez. So it was the 3 young law professors and Peter Winograd, who was maybe had a few years on us, but was the wonderkind of legal education in the United States.
Well, for me, it's been 28 years of awesome. It was the day that I entered the law school. I saw this slender but very highly intellectual individual walking around the forum. Intellectual giant he was, not just in Albuquerque and at UNM School of Law, but nationally. So
I started teaching at the law school in the summer of 1988, and that's how I met Peter. As the associate dean, he was in charge of scheduling, and heaven forbid you wanted to argue with Peter that he put your international law class at 8:30 a.m. on a Friday morning. He would not relent. He said everybody has to do at least one 8:30 a.m. on a Friday morning. So then you just took it.
Peter made the train run on time. I mean, during the period of which we were all deans, he made sure that from admissions to graduation, everything occurred when and how it should occur. That train was like a super train. It ran so fast that I think all three of us at times had to say, stop, slow up.
Peter has been responsible for so many innovations at the law school. There's nothing that has worked at the law school that hasn't gone through Peter. And he's the one who could figure out what would actually work, what we could actually afford, what we could actually convince people to help us with, and what would actually lead to better legal education.
He did a lot of volunteer work for organizations outside the law school, specifically the Law School Admission Council, which administers the LSAT, and also the American Bar Association. So he was away from the law school a lot, attending meetings. And so he racked up more frequent flyer miles than anybody I ever knew.
I might add, he is still doing the work for the ABA. He is still on committees, and he's still called upon regularly.
he is one of the most lovingly quirky individuals you will ever have the honor of knowing. This is an individual who will get to the law school mid-morning only to spend the next 16 to 18 hours wandering around the building, building on relationships, and then going to his office and then working feverishly on a schedule that very few could maintain.
Peter's concerns, I think, were always the institution, the school, and the students. I don't think it was ever us deans. He expected us to be able to take care of ourselves, and he would take care of the institution and the students. And he did a wonderful job with that.
There is nothing more frightening than to come in the morning and find a PAW on your door, because you don't know what it means, except you know that Peter's unhappy with you, and you know that he won't be there for a few hours, so you're not going to know for a while what you screwed up. But he's never going to yell at you. He's not going to be formally angry, but he's going to be disappointed. It's sort of the way when a parent is disappointed. And you don't want to disappoint Peter Winograd.
When you think about the number of jobs that Peter had, it reminds me of an episode of In Living Color where you would have the Jamaicans arguing on who had the most jobs. So as a faculty member, I had 3 jobs: teach, write, scholarship, and service. Peter had 13 jobs, at least.
If you go into his office, it looks exactly the way it did when he was downstairs. Stacks all over the desk and all over the floor.
So we were perennially in the top third of all law schools in the country while Peter was doing all these jobs. So his contribution to the law school is just amazing.
The law school has been his life. He's expended more blood, sweat, and tears at the University of New Mexico School of Law than any other person I can think of.
Peter was the one who allowed the University of New Mexico to be an innovator and a leader in legal education.
He was a wonderful partner.
So thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter, for being you. You're unusual, you're unique, you're rare, and your leadership coincided with the golden era of this institution. And because of the gift of the Knapps, that golden era will continue. And we can't thank you enough for all that you've given to our lives. Thank you, Peter.
how wonderful it has been to know you for the last half a century, and how lucky I feel in my professional life to have been able to work with you over all of this time. What a gift. How much I've learned, I can't tell you. And I so appreciate you. I so appreciate your generosity and your patience with me, and your recognition of the fact that those PAW notices should only be used infrequently.
This coincides in a very spectacular way with the year that marks 50 years of service that you've given to UNM School of Law and all the students who've traversed this building and the lives that you've touched over those 50 years, including my own. Thank you, Peter, for being exactly the incredible human being that you are.
The Peter A. Winograd Endowed Scholarship in Law honors a truly remarkable legacy. Dean Winograd joined the School of Law as an associate dean in 1976. That's 50 years ago. Peter, this is your golden jubilee. Peter's decades of leadership and dedication have touched thousands of students and have shaped the law school in so many important ways. Dean Winograd earned his undergraduate degree from Brown University, his JD from Harvard Law School, and an LLM from New York University School of Law. Before coming to UNM, he had been an assistant dean at NYU School of Law, associate dean at Georgetown University Law Center, and a division director at the Educational Testing Service. Dean Winograd has held many important national positions, including with the Law School Admission Council, the Association of American Law Schools, and the American Bar Association. He is also a member of the American Law Institute. He is also the longest-serving board member of the Albuquerque Bar Association. There is no one more committed to the School of Law than Dean Winograd. He still attends faculty meetings and makes every effort to attend every event. He can still be found working hard away in his office, especially at odd hours of the night. He is a friend to the school, he's a friend to me, and he is spectacularly committed to ensuring that our law school continues to be the best that it can be. Peter, you have made this school the special place that it has been, is now, and will continue to be. It is a great honor to celebrate your remarkable career and your legacy. Please join me in welcoming Dean Peter Winograd.
Thank you. Well, that was quite something. I had planned to start by saying that I'd been asked to limit my remarks to 5 minutes, and that I would try to come close to that, but many of you have gotten voicemails from me, and many of you know that they frequently come in 2 or 3 parts, because the first one shut down before I finished. Also, there's a certain minus, or maybe a plus, in being the last person to speak, because lots of what I was going to say has already been said. So that may make it possible for me to actually do it in 5 minutes. But we are really so fortunate to be here today to commemorate this truly remarkable generosity from Dana Marie and Eric. It did begin 13 years ago. There was that breakfast in San Francisco. It lasted about 2.5 hours. and a lot more than bagels were consumed. We started about 8 o'clock, and it ended largely because both of us had to go somewhere else and we had run out of time. But a few months after that, that's when I was informed that the Knapps had decided to fund a current scholarship. Back then it was $5,000 a year. It would go to one student at the time of admission, and that student would keep it for all 3 years. And over the years, we have now had 4 students. The scholarship up through this year had been increased to $20,000 a year. And the 5th student will arrive next fall, and it'll be $25,000, which is a little bit more than full New Mexico resident tuition plus mandatory university fees. So that really makes it possible for someone to go through and complete their legal education and hopefully take out very little in the way of loans. The $25,000 scholarship is one of our largest current scholarships. And that, of course, is in addition to the planned gift of $4.5 million, the largest that we've ever received, and it will be the most transformative. That gift is going to enable us to attract students that might very well go to other law schools. When I came here, we would receive applications from almost every New Mexico resident who was thinking about going to law school. And the ones we accepted, for the most part, really did not think about going elsewhere. That has now changed. And law school admissions has become extremely competitive, and scholarship money is absolutely crucial. And this is going to make a very big difference. And I hope I'm still around to see it all happen. You know, a well-known writer for The New Yorker, as he was approaching 100 years old, stated that there are really 3 stages of people: youth, and then maturity, and then you look great. So I thought that was pretty good. As I think back to 1976, the year I arrived in New Mexico, it still amazes me that I ended up here. I was working, as was said earlier, I was working at Educational Testing Service in Princeton, New Jersey, and I had decided to leave. And I had offers from a couple of very good law schools, University of Virginia and Northwestern, and I had decided to go to Chicago. And Fred Hart was the dean at that time here at UNM, and he was also then the president of the Law School Admission Council. So I used to see him regularly at board meetings and committee meetings over the 2-year period that he served as that president. And at one of those meetings, early in 1976, Fred asked me what I was planning to do after leaving ETS, and I told him I was going to go to Northwestern, and I was going to make that phone call the following Monday. He said I should consider doing something other than going to yet another large, fancy law school, since I had previously been employed by 2 of them. He thought I should try something different, like coming to New Mexico. Of course, There was no offer at that point from UNM. But Fred never hesitated to go out on a limb. Those of you who were here then well remember that that was the case. And he urged me to do nothing for a week. He returned to Albuquerque, and voila, 3 days later, I received an offer with a salary well below the other law schools. My friends and my parents thought I was nuts. But I decided to give Albuquerque a try for a few years, to enjoy the great weather, and then head back east. Never did I imagine at that time that I would be here for anything close to 50 years. And I'm quite certain that a night like tonight would never have occurred at another law school had I gone there. That said, I want to take one more minute. I want to mention that until coming to UNM, I had never seen a law school that delivered both the high quality and the personalized level of legal education that was and still is available here. The faculty-student ratio continues to be one of the very best in the country. Most first-year courses are taught in 3 sections. We only have about 110 entering students. That means that those sections are less than 40 people each. And 2 courses are taught in 6 sections of less than 20 each. This provides opportunities for students to develop relationships with individual faculty members that are unlikely to occur elsewhere. And while technology has made it possible for both students and faculty to spend less time on campus than in the past, there continues to be a real sense of community here. The deans, professors, and alumni who you saw on video saying such nice things about the Knapps and me are dear friends, but they all had to put up with a heck of a lot while dealing with me in what was an effort to keep the internal trains running on time. As was mentioned by Sherry Burr in the video, somebody had to teach at 8:30 on Friday mornings, which somewhat explains why it was not without reason that I was occasionally referred to as the nag. But that was almost always said with a smile. So in conclusion, I'll leave you with just one thought, and you'll not be surprised. The UNM School of Law has been and is, and hopefully will continue to be a real treasure as the world changes around us, and it deserves the support of all of us. Thanks very much.
Thank you all for being here tonight and for the role that you play in the life of the School of Law. Your presence is evidence of the strength and spirit of this special community. This extraordinary gift will open doors for generations of students, expanding access to low-cost legal education, attracting exceptional talent, and strengthening the future of the legal profession here in New Mexico and beyond. Eric, Dana Marie, and Peter, your generosity will have a meaningful impact in perpetuity. We are deeply grateful for your commitment and for all that you do to support our law school. Please join me in one final warm round of applause for Eric, Dana Marie, and Peter. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.